A self-made millionaire shares his secret. Next.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
A self-made millionaire shares his secrets. Next. Welcome to the Stan Simpson Show, a program about Connecticut people and compelling issues. Make it a point to drop in every week. 52 years ago, Curtis Darrow Robinson migrated to Hartford from Alabama with big dreams and a few dollars. His hard work and persistence eventually turned him into one of the East Coast's top businessmen and one of the top minority business people in America. This entrepreneur and philanthropist has an ownership stake in a number of businesses, including Bradley International Airport, transportation services, office buildings, and parking lots in downtown Hartford. He is also planning a $780 million casino and golf resort in St. Croix. Robinson's charitable endeavors are also noteworthy. This year, this cancer survivor put up $1 million to help establish the Curtis D. Robinson Men's Health Institute at St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center. The institute will address disparities and increase awareness about prostate cancer. Today, we talk with a guy with Alabama roots who made Connecticut Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. Curtis Robinson, you're welcome.
Well, thank you, Stan. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, self-made millionaire. I've seen you speak to kids over the years. Wonderful story. You came to Hartford 1958, a kid from Alabama with a dream. Tell us about it.
Well, Stan, I left Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama, when I was 16 years old. I got on a bus going to Boston. And the bus arrived when it got to Hartford, everybody got off the bus. So I thought I was in Boston. So I asked the guy what part of Boston I was in. He said, no, you got another 90 or so miles to go. So I ran back to get on the bus, and the bus had left. So I just said, well, I don't know anybody in Boston. I'll try this Hartford, Connecticut. So the first night, I slept in Bushnell Park. I slept in Bushnell Park, and the next day I got a job washing dishes at this new hotel they was building. And, I saved my money. I saved money from 16 to 18 and bought a little grocery store. And 15 years later, I bought the hotel.
So you go from cleaning up at the hotel to buying the hotel, an American success story. Now, of course, the question is, how do you do it? You save a little money, you had perseverance, but that's a lot of money to save up. How do you navigate that kind of a deal for all the folks tuning in and saying, gee, how does that work out?
Well, it's interesting. When I was 18 years old, I'd saved $7,500. And I was working 2 jobs, and I was on my way home one morning after the second job, and I stopped in this little grocery store. And the guy said, we're going to what they call supermarkets. He said, anybody want to buy a grocery store? And I said, well, no. He said, well, if you know anybody got $7,500, that's what we're going to sell the store for. So I went home and I thought about it, and I said, gee, if I bought this grocery store, I might not have to work 2 jobs the rest of my life. So I called him the next day, and we made a deal, and I bought the grocery store. And I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything about grocery stores, and I had 4 people there working, and they indicated they would stay with me, but 2 weeks later they left and said that I'm 40 years old. How can I justify to my wife that I'm working for an 18-year-old kid? So they left me, which was a good thing, because I had to learn on my own. And, after a few years there, I bought the building, and we opened up a little restaurant there, Pizza House, and some other things. And then I started buying other properties, and when I was 35 years old, I sold everything and called myself retired. I retired, didn't do anything until I was 40 years old. Went back in business when I was 40 up at Bradley. We bidded on some things up at the airport. And, just worked hard. I Didn't mind taking a chance. You know, most people in this country don't like to take chances. You know, 95% of people don't like to take chances. That's why 5% of people own it. But I didn't mind taking a chance, but, you know, your chance got to be economically feasible. You don't open up a hot dog stand off 91 if there's no exits. You know, you got to make sure
right?
It's economically feasible.
Now, let me ask you a question. You also are business savvy. Is that something that you're born with? Because your guy doesn't have a college degree, and you go around talking to high school kids about the importance of them getting their college education. Was this something that was a natural instinct for you with business, or did you have to learn it?
Well, the thing is that, you know, I always realize that if somebody paid me $100 a week, they're not making $200 giving me half. I'm not their partner. I invest in their business. Why are you giving me $100? So I figure if somebody is giving me $100, they got to be making $500. So I always wanted to be on the other end.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to assume you have a mentor. We'll get into your holdings in a second. I'm assuming a guy as successful as you had someone either who you talked to regularly or someone who you read about. Who was your mentor? Who inspired you?
My mentor actually was a gentleman out of Alabama, Birmingham. His name was A.G. Gaston. A.G. Gaston, because of discrimination, segregation laws, he used to own all the ambulance service, the cemeteries, nursing homes, you name it. And I always admired him. I always admired him for his tenacity in terms of giving back and how he helped people. And I just said one day I wanted to be like A.G. Gaston. I mean, this man was one of the wealthiest men, but he was wealthy through the laws of Alabama because people didn't have any other place to go but him. But so when I came to Connecticut, I saw that opportunity. I didn't see anybody who looked like me was in business or anybody who was doing anything of significance. So when I, you know, opened up my grocery store, this is where I've always, when I was a little boy, I always went to African-American grocery store. And because the whole community, that's what it was. So I just decided that I would do that, and the people embraced me, and they supported me. And
but you had a value for that market where some folks don't have a value for that market.
Absolutely.
But now you went again from the guy who was cleaning up at the grocery store at the hotel to somebody who
I was
owns...
washing dishes.
Washing dishes,
no,
okay, excuse me.
That was a promotion to clean up.
But now you're a guy who owns... People don't realize, I mean, the airport... I mean, you basically own the airport. You own about 8 shops at the airport. You control the transportation at the airport. Talk about that. How did you end up owning 8 shops at Bradley?
Actually, we started with one shop over in Terminal B, and as the airport grew, they allowed me to grow with the airport when we built Terminal A and B.
But you didn't mind, though, right? You didn't mind them allowing you to grow.
No. They, you know, you did a good job, and you know, I think that you know, there's some great people at Bradley Airport.
So you have CNBC building the store. You have the Brooks Brothers store.
Yeah, we have like 8 shops in there. We have the New England shops, the CNB shops, the Brooks Brothers stores. We do all the transportation. You know, if you park at Bradley Airport, you see R&G Services on the bus. That's Robinson and Girls, you know. And
Robinson and Girls.
Yeah, we had all girls. So
that's what it's called, really?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, right.
Okay.
So
5 girls, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the thing is that we, you know, and we bid it on the old Air National Guard building, you know, which now is we have a couple of federal agencies in there, which I can't name.
50,000 square foot building, right?
Building, yeah.
So how do you manage all? You have you have the properties with the transportation. You have 8 shops at the airport. You have the Air Museum, whatever it's called, there with that. You have some downtown property with office space, with parking. How do you keep your hands on all that and make sure that works?
It's not me. I got good people around me. I got guys like Dave Levine, who's been with me for 20 years. David is he's my right arm. My daughter works in the office there. She runs Tony Little, Helena. I just have a wonderful staff who basically take care of business. Great people. I could never replace them.
How important is that, as a business person, how important is it for you to find people who are solid, who can run your operation so you can sort of delegate? How important is that to you?
Well, you know, A.G. Gaston used to always say, you hire somebody really good, and then you hire somebody to watch them, and then you watch all of them.
I like that. That's the way to do it. So now what? Now you're, you got to be over 7 years old, I'm assuming, right? Or late 60s, early 70s.
I'm blah, 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 blah.
Okay, well, whatever you are, you look great. But what happens now? What's the legacy for Curtis Robinson? We'll talk about the Institute in a second. What do you want your legacy to be now? Outside of the Institute, which we'll get into, what do you want people to learn from your success in business? Well,
I just don't want, especially young kids, I want kids to know that you can make it without singing or dancing or bouncing a ball or selling drugs. You know, you can make it. Don't let anybody destroy your dreams. If anybody, everything I've done, people told me I couldn't do it. And, you know, the key to success is discipline. You just got to stick with something. You know, if you hit something, you continue to hit it, it will eventually fall. But most people, they stand in microwaves and say, hurry up. You know, things not going to happen overnight. And we got to forget about the past. Things that happened to us in the past, but when you look back, you run into something. And I'm saying, you know, don't forget about the past. Understand the past was there, but use it to your advantage to advance, you know.
And I want to get to those tips in the next segment, but real quick, education, because you go to a lot of school groups and you talk to students, you say, listen, go out and get your education.
Right.
You didn't finish college, although you're on a board at a UHARD, but you tell them, you know, you were sort of an aberration. You're a great success. You tell the kids you also made a lot of mistakes because you didn't have an advanced degree. Can you talk about that in about 30 seconds?
Absolutely. Well, you know, the thing is that you have to realize, I tell kids, it's about 1,400 professional athletes out of 300 million people. The thing is that being a professional athlete is like hitting the lottery. So you got to have a backup. You know, so you get your good college education. You know, the key to success is 85% attitude and 15% aptitude. Your attitude to get you in the door, but your aptitude to keep you in the door. You understand? So the thing is, so you know, you got to know how to apply yourself. You got to know how to. Education is so important. Just think. I mean, God has blessed me, but just think if I had a doctor's degree.
You'd really been something, huh?
Oh, I've been able to pay.
You've been a multi-zillionaire instead of a billionaire, of a millionaire, right?
Well, God has been good.
He has been good. On Sunday, we'll talk more about that when we come back. Self-made millionaire Curtis Robinson shares the secrets of his success. We'll break it down and find out how you can be successful like he is. You are watching The Stan Simpson Show.